Hey guys, Austin here with Backpack NV, and today we're talking about the basics. Welcome to Backpacking and Camping 101. All right, so today we're going to break down the basics. Fire, water, shelter, food, how to set up that shelter, a couple other little tips and tricks. And then as we go along, we're going to make this series much more extensive. We're going to break down all of these topics and more in their own videos. This is just one centralized resource to get you guys started, get you out into the woods, get you onto the trail, and get you outdoors. Let's go ahead and jump into it. First, we're going to talk about the pack, what to pack, and how to pack it. All right, this is my most common pack. This is a Osprey Rook. This is what I would take out day camping, overnight, those smaller hikes. I've got bigger packs, I've got smaller packs if I was just going to be off on a little walk through the nature trail down the road, and I also have those bigger packs for those long multi-day trips, or if I was out like mountaineering and I needed a lot of gear. All of this is situationally dependent. So it's winter and I'm going to need a lot more fuel, food, water, insulation. If I'm going to a day hike in Yosemite in the summer, I probably don't need to bring a tent and a sleeping bag, so I'm going to have a smaller pack, a little bit lighter weight. You can get a pretty decent pack on Facebook Marketplace, on Amazon. You can buy packs for 50 or 60 or 80 bucks. That'll do you just fine. Something like this you can find used all the time. Go to your local REI, they have used packs. Go to your local thrift store, you'll find old frame packs all the time. Hit up your buddy who is in the Army and see if he's got one laying around that'll sell you. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about what we're gonna pack and then how we're gonna pack it. There's a few things that I'm simply not gonna leave any trip without. I have it all basically on the top of my drawer because it's the stuff I grab the most. I'm never gonna leave home without a ferro rod. They're pretty cheap. You can get 2 of them on Amazon for like $9. Get the big, thick, heavy-duty ones. They last forever. Insurance policy, lighter. It's way easier to use than one of these, but having them both, you're basically always gonna have a fire. A good pocket knife. This is a Benchmade. You don't have to spend a bunch of money to get a pretty decent pocket knife. SOG, Gerber. As long as you get a pretty decent knife. I like semi-serrated knives. Gives you a little bit more of a chop. This one's an auto. You can get unassisted ones. Heck, even these old classic fishing knives, they work just fine. Make sure you sharpen them up. It'll do you good. So I've got fire. I've got my knife. A couple other things I'm never going to leave home without. Some sort of cordage. This is 550 cord, so I can break it into different strands and do what I need to do with it. I can lash things up. I can tie things down. I can use it to help stabilize my tent. I can do all kinds of different stuff with it. Never going to leave home without this. I'm never going to leave home without my phone, my keys, my wallet, all that stuff. And then the other thing I'm probably never going to go anywhere in the woods without is this guy. This is a Garmin InReach Mini. It's basically a little satellite communicator. So it can connect to your phone. It can also do it on its own. Turn it on. It connects to a satellite network. And anywhere I have a clear sky view, even under trees, if I can see the sky, this will send a message. I can check in. I can send my coordinates. I can say, hey, I'm doing good. Hey, I'm going to be late. Or I can even send custom messages through my phone that says, hey, took a wrong turn, gonna be late. Or hey, I just rolled my ankle real bad. I need someone to come and get me. There's also an SOS button that blasts my location out to emergency services. Hopefully someone can come get me. That's not a cheap thing. Those things are like $350, and there's a subscription fee. If you're out in the woods enough, especially if you have a family and you want to make sure that they're in touch with you, have one of those. All right, let's go ahead and jump into how we're going to pack this stuff. So how we're going to pack is, once again, depending on what we're packing. As a general rule, we want to pack big, bulky stuff at the bottom of our pack. Sleeping bags, sleeping pads, ground cloths, tarps, shelter halves, things like that are going to go down here and towards the front of your pack where your back is going to be. I'd also put, if I had like extra shoes or things like that, dirty clothes down here. Towards the middle of the pack, I'm going to put my heavier items, my fuel, my stove, any extra water, any gear that I had. So if I was mountaineering and I had crampons or ropes and carabiners, Those are all going to go towards the middle of my pack. The top of my pack is once again be that little bit lighter stuff. It's also going to be the stuff that I want to get to first. So a rain shell, snacks, first aid supplies. That can also go up here. Most packs have some sort of top pocket. This is where I'm going to put those things as well. Maps, compass, my lighter, the things that I'd want to be able to access really easily in a hurry if I needed to, and I don't have to worry about digging into my pack, because I might not want to unpack this whole thing every night. I might leave all the stuff at the bottom and then only unpack it when I need to get to it. It's kind of a pain in the butt to dump this thing out every night and then repack it in the morning. All right, let's go ahead and jump in the back. We're going to talk about a couple things, and we'll finish it up here. It's time for some coffee because I just woke up, and it's a good way to show you guys how to set up and cook a little bit. So every stove's a little bit different. You have Esbit style stoves, which use like fuel tablets. You have the standard little pocket rocket style stoves. And then you have something like this, which I actually really like this stove. Bought it on Amazon. What's cool about it is I can use propane canisters and like the normal camping fuel canisters. So I can have a little bit more variety in my fuel. And the propane's a lot cheaper than the isobutane. All right, make a little bit of coffee here. So, stove on. You probably won't be able to hear that, but fuel going. Got my stove lit. Go ahead and get some water in my cup here. All right, and remember, this is clean water, so I don't need to get this boiling. If I wanted to boil the water to get it clean, I could do that. I like using these little cups. That way I don't burn the heck out of my mouth, because I've done that, and it's not fun. Take my instant coffee, which I vastly prefer to some of those like little percolators and stuff you can buy. This stuff is cheap. It's fine coffee, and it weighs very, very little, and it's just that quick. So, nice warm cup of coffee, and this would be the same as if I was going to do this for a meal. So I would take my meal here. This one's from Adventure Well Outdoors, which are really cool. I would do the same thing. I would heat up the correct amount of water. I'd go ahead and I would pour it in. I'd want to get that water pretty much boiling. I'd pour it in, stir it up a little bit, seal this bag, and then I would let that sit for about 10 minutes, which I believe is the instructions on these. Yep, 10 minutes. And then I would go ahead and eat this. These are pretty big portions, so you could save it for later in the day, and then add just a little bit more hot water and keep it heated up and have a pretty good meal. So, pretty quick breakdown on cooking and making some coffee. Let's go ahead and jump in, and let's talk about fire. Fire, whether it be for life sustainment, so keeping you warm, or just for cooking, or for enjoyment, is a really, really integral part of backpacking and camping. You need to be aware of your surroundings. You need to be aware of the rules. A lot of national parks and national forests don't allow fires unless they're in a specified area. Some don't allow them at all. If you're up in the Tahoe National Forest, you're pretty much never going to be able to have a fire. So be aware of the rules that are around you, and then just be mindful. Don't set up your fire in the middle of a dry hay field and then be surprised when it catches on fire. So I'm in my backyard. I have a fire pit. Biggest thing for fire is preparation. I've got my little bed of wood set up here. It rained a couple days ago, so the ground in here is damp. I haven't had a fire in here since last summer. So I have that little platform of wood set up. That is where I'm gonna go ahead and put my fire starter. I also have a little bundle of sticks here. I'm not gonna build a big fire right now. This is just to show you guys. The easiest and quickest way that I know of to start a fire is cheating. This is an old egg carton. I take a couple pieces of matchlight charcoal and some dryer lint in there, and I go ahead and put it in there. The best survival tool in the world is a Bic lighter. You can buy like 5 of them for like $6. Stick them in your pockets, stick them in your truck, stick them in your car, and it's gonna be a lot easier than doing this with some sticks trying to rub them together. So all I do is I light the egg carton, which lights the Matchlight charcoal and keeps the whole thing going like a big wick, and it gets fires going pretty much every time. A bag of Matchlight charcoal is like $6, the little one, and you can do this a bunch of different times. Save your egg cartons, guys, and dryer lint. Dryer lint burns really, really well. All right, look at that, already going. The other thing I've talked about these a lot. These are just cotton balls soaked in Vaseline or petroleum jelly, whatever you want to call it. I just lay them out on a piece of pack paper or whatever. I heat the petroleum jelly up, drip them onto the cotton balls, and I store them like this, and every time I want to take some out, I grab 3 or 4 and chuck them into another plastic bag and put them in my pack, and you get some stuff going pretty well. All right, fire's going right there. What you want to do is you want to start nice and small. Start with this thin, dry stuff. Start stacking that up. I like to build more of like a little teepee style structure. Some people prefer to stack it up like Lincoln logs. It really doesn't matter as long as you allow enough airflow to get to the wood. You can see there that wood's starting to pick up nice and easy. All right, I'm gonna let this burn for a few more minutes and I'll put it out, and we'll jump in. I think let's talk about shelter. All right, so hierarchy of needs. We have water, food, and shelter. So talk about shelter real quick. We talk about a couple things. We talk about locating a shelter. I wanna make sure it's relatively flat, because on a hill, you're gonna wake up in the corner of your tent. It's not very comfortable. We wanna make sure that it's dry. Out here is my backyard, so it's pretty dry. We wanna make sure there's nothing above me that's gonna fall and hurt me. I don't wanna be putting this under a bunch of dead trees. I don't wanna be putting it under a rock face where I see rocks all scattered over the ground. I wanna make sure that I'm gonna be safe, be dry and comfortable. So pretty safe, dry and comfortable out here. Let's go ahead and get this tent set up. All right, so as you can see, I struggled with this one a little bit. This is actually a brand new tent. I've never pulled it out before. And I actually bought this tent specifically for another video I'm doing. So do this. If you have a tent, break it out in the backyard or in your garage and set it up. See what it looks like. See what you might need. I can tell you these little chintzy stakes that came with this are not gonna cut it. I'm gonna have to go get some new stakes. And that's fine. It's a lot better for me to figure this out in my backyard on a nice sunny day than at 8 o'clock at night when the sun's going down and I'm hungry and tired and cold and wet. So gonna get the stakes in the ground, and looks pretty good. All right, so to get my nice cup of coffee here, we needed clean water. And to get clean water, we can use all kinds of different methods. We can use filters, we can use tablets, we can boil it if we need to. There's some pluses and advantages to each and disadvantages to each. Filters wear out. Sawyers happen to last a really long time, but they do wear out. They're anywhere from $20 to $100 depending on which one you get. Do a little bit of research. I like the minis because they don't take up very much space and they last a long time. Tablets take up very little room and very little weight, but the water doesn't taste great afterwards. So it's a cheap insurance policy to just throw a couple of those little tablets into your pack, in a plastic bag or in your vehicle, in your emergency kit, and you're always going to have them, so you know that the water's clean. A rule of thumb with water tablets is usually 1 tab per liter or 2 tabs per liter. It depends on the tablet. You need to read the instructions. So if I had my liter, I would put that 1 or 2 tablets in here. I would shake it up, make sure that tablet's dissolved, and then wait. Usually 15 to 30 minutes, depending on the tablet. Once again, read those instructions. The other thing that you'll see a lot of people do is you'll see a lot of people clear the threads. So they flip the bottle upside down and they take that clean water and they let a little bit pour through, and that cleans the nasty water out of the threads. I don't usually think that's a huge deal. You can do it if you want. You probably don't need to. You wait about 15 to 30 minutes. Go ahead and crack this open and drink nice clean water. Once again, it's just not going to taste great. Boiling is probably the easiest method because you don't have to carry anything other than a pot and some fire, which you probably are going to carry. But it takes a long time. You have to boil water for usually, I think most people say 10 minutes. There's also some argument that if you just get that water up to temperature and let it cool down, you'll be fine. I have a tendency to believe somewhere in the middle. Let it boil for a few minutes, take it off, let it cool down a little bit so you can drink it, or carry a cup like this so you don't burn your lips on your metal pot, because that sucks, and then you should be safe to drink. Filters are pretty easy. This is a Sawyer Mini, so I can show you guys how that works. This is a dirty water bag. This and drinking water do not interchange. You do not put dirty water in this, and you do not put clean water in this. So what I would do is I would take this, I'd go over to my stream or my spring or my nasty puddle or whatever I could find. I would fill this up with water. Another cool thing is you can actually attach certain bottles to this, so you could carry like plastic bottles so you could have a lot more water. You take your dirty water, twist it on, flip it upside down, you squeeze your bag, that's why it's called a squeeze system, and then your clean water comes out here. You can put it into your cup, you can put it into your stove pot, you can just drink out of it like a straw, which is what some people do. And then when you're done, take this off. When you're completely done, when you're back home, you want to make sure you flush this, you push some clean water through it to keep it lasting a long time, and you want to make sure you dry these out. One thing about these, if you take this out into the woods when it's cold and you use it, keep this warm, because if it freezes, it destroys it with water in it. If it freezes with water in it, it destroys it. All right, well, talked about food, talked about water, we talked about shelter, we talked about fire. Let's go ahead and jump back inside and run through the last few thoughts and close this one out. We've gone through food, we've gone through water, gone through shelter, we've gone through fire, how to pack, what we're going to carry with us. Couple more things. We already talked about the communication. So I'm going to carry my InReach Mini. I'm going to carry my phone, make sure my friends or family know where I'm going, even if that means buying a second map and tracing my route with like a grease pencil or something so they know which route I'm supposed to take, about how long it's supposed to take, and then where I'm going to be coming out and when I'm going to be checking in. A couple other things that my buddies brought up that they wanted to see in this video: self-defense. So I live about an hour away from Lake Tahoe. There are bears. So do you want to carry a firearm? Do you want to carry bear spray? What do you carry for human defense? Do you want to carry a firearm? Do you want to carry pepper spray? It's going to be dependent on where you live, what you're legally allowed to carry, and what exactly level of defense you want to have. So personally, I carry a firearm because I believe that is one of my rights, and it's something that I want to do. I take that responsibility for myself, not only in public, but out in the woods, I do that. They're a little bit more expensive. There are more regulations behind it. I can go to Walmart and buy some pepper spray. It's about the same size as this tube right here. I can clip it onto my bag. That'll defend you pretty well from a lot of people and from most animals. Bear spray usually comes in a container about this big. It looks like a little mini fire extinguisher. What that's going to do is that's going to provide much more of a blast, usually about 25 feet. Most bears around here, at least, will run from that. Most of the bears up in Tahoe are nothing bigger than, those big dogs, about 300-pound bears. They're a lot smaller. If I was up in Alaska, I would have a much different idea of what I would want for defense from bears. Gear selection. Gear selection is about as wide as you can possibly imagine. A lot of the stuff I wear, I learned from the military. So I'd have my headlamp around my neck. That's a thing I picked up. I've got these insulative layers. This is actually a military issue one. I've got military style boots because that's what I'm comfortable with and what's what I'm used to. I wear 511 pants because they're comfy and I like them. That being said, there's all kinds of different brands: REI, Columbia, Danner, every brand you've ever heard of for the outdoors. Find what you like. Find what looks good for you, because not everyone has the same style. Find what you can afford. Do not think you have to go out and buy everything from head to toe Sitka or some other brand Patagonia, that's $1 million for a base layer. You can go out and you can get pretty decent gear on Amazon or on Walmart, only spending what you want. You don't need insulated pants if you're going out in the summer. You can wear your shorts, you can wear jeans, you can wear whatever fits you and whatever you are most comfortable with. Last one is shoes. I showed you guys my boots here. These are some military style boots. I believe they're made by Bates. These are the boots I actually had in the Marines. I really like Hoka trail runners. I really like Salomon trail runners. Try these things out. Go to an REI. Go to your local outdoor store at Cabela's, a Scheels, a Sportsman's Warehouse, and talk to the people there. Most of these people are more than happy to help you, and try some stuff on and see what looks good for you. Buy something on sale, save yourself a few bucks. Anything else to get you out in the woods. So hope you guys liked the video. I know it was a lot of talking, a lot of information thrown in just a couple minutes, but like I said at the beginning, this is the 101. This is the crash course in the basics. As this video series continues, it'll mirror along with my State Park series, which a new one will be hopefully coming up here pretty soon. And we're going to talk about all of these topics and much, much more in a much deeper variety and much deeper detail. So if there's anything you want to see specifically, it could be about a topic I have in this video, it could be about something completely different, please let me know. I want to see what you guys want to see from me, what you guys want to pull knowledge out of, and what we can learn together. So if you have a tip or a trick that has really helped you, or you think would really help me, let me know. As always, thanks for watching, guys. Like, subscribe, comment, all that fun stuff. Find me on Backpack NV on most social media channels. I really appreciate it. Get out in the woods. We'll see you out on the trail.